Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're doing a deep dive today on Jim Kwik's Limitless.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
It's like a brain upgrade manual, right? Like, we're going to pull out the best bits to help you learn faster, remember more.
And unlock your full potential.
Exactly. Unlock your full potential. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's really not just about cramming information.
Right.
It's about, like, changing how you learn.
Mm.
Limitless gives you these practical tools to think better and, like, break free from those mental roadblocks
Totally.
that we all hit sometimes.
Yeah, it's like our brains have these like built-in traps.
Yeah,
Kwik calls them digital villains.
yeah.
And honestly, they're so relatable. It's that feeling of just like
Being flooded
flooded with info, constantly distracted.
by bangs and notifications
Yeah.
and then blanking on simple things because we're relying on our phones to remember everything.
Oh, totally. It's like, where did I park my car again?
Right.
I can't remember.
Like, we rely on GPS so much that our sense of direction
It's true.
might be getting a little rusty.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, is technology like making us sharper or is it,
Or is it making us dependent?
yeah, more dependent?
Yeah, a bit
A
unsettling.
little bit.
But before we spiral, Quick's own story is super inspiring.
Oh, yeah.
He literally believed he had a broken brain after a childhood injury.
Yeah.
He even threw away a school report card out of fear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
It shows you how much our beliefs can shape our
This
realities.
is true.
If you're convinced you're limited,
Yeah.
you're less likely to even try.
Yeah.
But his turning point was seeing a waitress effortlessly memorizing like hundreds of orders.
Wow.
If she could unlock that brain power, why not him?
Totally.
And why not us?
That's such a good point. So Quick debunks these 7 lies we often tell ourselves about learning.
Yeah.
The first one hit home for me. Intelligence is fixed. It's that old, like, you're either smart or you're not.
Right.
But it turns out our brains are way more flexible than we think.
Oh, for sure. And think of it like this. Every time you learn something new, your brain physically changes,
Oh, wow.
forming these new connections. And this is neuroplasticity in action.
Okay.
I love the story of London cab drivers.
Yeah.
Their brains actually show larger hippocampus areas,
What is that?
which deal with spatial memory,
Gotcha.
because they memorize the entire city map.
Wow.
So learning literally rewires your brain.
That's incredible. Okay, lie number 2. We only use 10% of our brains. I admit, I kind of wanted this one to be true.
Right.
It feels like there's so much untapped potential in there.
It's a fun thought, but we actually use all of our brain.
Okay,
The key is using it effectively.
right.
It's like having a powerful computer, but only knowing a few basic commands.
Oh, yeah.
Limitless helps us learn the advanced stuff.
So true. And the third lie is something we've all felt. Mistakes are failures. But honestly, some of my biggest breakthroughs have come from messing up and figuring out why.
Exactly. Mistakes are just feedback.
Okay.
Think about Thomas Edison. He tested over 1,000 materials
Wow.
before finding the right filament for the light bulb, and he famously said, "I haven't failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work."
That's a great way to look at it. And this leads to lie number 4. Learning is difficult. I mean, sometimes it is.
Yeah.
But when I find a method that clicks for me, it's almost like a game.
Absolutely. It's about finding what works for you.
Yeah,
Kwik emphasizes personalized learning styles.
I like that.
One of his students, Alexis Bank, struggled with reading and thought she was a smart.
Mm.
But with Kwik's techniques, she was reading college-level books in no time.
Wow.
It wasn't about intelligence. It was about finding the right approach.
That's incredibly encouraging. Okay, the 5th lie stings a bit. I'm too old to learn. I feel this sometimes when trying new tech.
But it's simply not true.
Okay.
Your brain can change and adapt throughout your life.
Okay, good.
Like a study even showed that learning new languages in older age can actually delay cognitive decline.
Wow.
It's never too late to pick up something new.
That's good to know. And the 6th lie, criticism matters. I think we all struggle with worrying about what others think.
Oh, yeah?
But Kwik reminds us to focus on our own path.
Uses Jim Carrey as an example.
Okay.
Carrey said he wants to free people from a concern about others' opinions.
Oh, I like that.
It's about staying true to yourself, not letting others define your worth.
And the final lie Kwik tackles is that genius is born.
Right.
We put these figures on pedestals, but often their genius came from years of dedication and practice.
Take Bruce Lee.
Okay.
He faced incredible obstacles and societal limits to become a martial arts legend.
It's true.
It wasn't natural talent alone, it was grit, determination, and relentless practice.
Yeah.
It shows us what's possible with the right mindset.
Okay, so we've tackled these digital villains and debunked the lies. But how do we actually unlock our potential? Kwik says motivation is key.
He has a simple formula. Motivation equals purpose times energy times small, simple steps.
Okay, I like that.
You need a clear why to fuel your learning.
So figure out your purpose, what's driving you to learn.
Right.
Then you need the energy, both physical and mental, to keep going.
Yeah.
Kwik talks a lot about brain-boosting habits like sleep, nutrition, and even exercise.
It's about creating an environment where your brain can thrive.
Yeah.
Think of it like prepping an athlete for peak performance.
And the final piece of the puzzle, those small, simple steps.
Yeah.
Don't get overwhelmed by the big picture. Just focus on those manageable chunks.
It's all about building momentum.
Totally.
Imagine you're learning a new language.
Okay.
Don't try to cram everything at once.
Right.
Start with a few words a day, gradually building your vocabulary. Those small wins keep you motivated.
So we've got our purpose, our energy, and our small steps ready to go.
Yeah.
But how do we actually study smarter and remember more? Kwik has some techniques that are game changers.
One of the most impactful is active recall.
Okay.
Instead of passively rereading notes,
Yeah.
actively try to retrieve the information from your memory.
Okay.
It's like a mental workout for your brain.
It makes sense if you can explain a concept without looking at your notes, you really know it. What other study habits does Kwik recommend?
Another key one is spaced repetition. Instead of cramming everything into one session,
Right.
review the material at increasing intervals.
Okay.
This takes advantage of the forgetting curve
Gotcha.
and helps move information into long-term memory.
It's like reminding your brain what's important and keeping those memories fresh.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is how Kwik connects this to state-dependent learning.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed how certain smells or songs can trigger memories?
Oh, absolute. Like a certain perfume taking me back to high school, is that what you mean?
Yes. Our emotional state and environment during learning can impact our ability to recall information later.
Interesting.
It's another reason why cramming in a stressed-out state isn't effective.
So maybe studying in a relaxed environment with a cup of tea is a better approach. What else can we do to study smarter?
Kwik highlights the power of teaching to solidify knowledge. When you explain something to someone else, it forces you to organize your thoughts and identify any gaps in your understanding.
So finding a study buddy or explaining a concept to a friend can actually be super helpful.
Exactly. It's a way to actively engage with the material and make those neural connections stronger.
Now, this is a technique I'm really excited about speed reading. I've always wanted to devour books faster, but worried about losing comprehension.
That's a common concern.
Yeah.
But Kwik argues that we can actually train ourselves to read faster and comprehend more.
Okay.
One key is to break those habits that slow us down,
Yeah.
like subvocalizing that little voice in our head, reading along with the words.
I definitely do that. What are some ways to overcome subvocalization?
One technique is to use a visual pacer,
Okay.
like your finger or a pen, to guide your eyes across the page.
Okay.
It helps you take in more words at a glance and forces you to move faster.
That's a great tip. It feels like learning a whole new way to read.
Exactly. It's about rewiring those reading pathways in your brain for efficiency.
Now let's talk about Memory Quick's MOM method. Seems like a simple yet effective way to remember more.
It stands for Motivation, Observation, and Methods.
Okay.
Motivation is key. We remember things that matter to us.
Right.
Find a personal connection to the information you're learning. Make it meaningful.
So don't just passively absorb facts. Find a way to relate to them personally. What about observation?
Observation is about being present and paying attention.
Okay.
Often we forget things not because of a memory issue, but because we weren't fully focused when we encountered the information.
I'm definitely guilty of that. I'll be reading, but my mind is somewhere else entirely. How do we improve our observation skills?
Mindfulness practices can help.
Okay.
It's about training yourself to be present in the moment and fully engage with what you're learning.
That makes sense. And the final part of the MOM methods is where Kwik dives into those memory boosting techniques, right?
Exactly. He talks about visualization,
Okay.
creating vivid mental pictures to help you remember information. He explains mnemonic devices like acronyms or rhymes to encode information more effectively.
Those are techniques I've heard of before, but I've never really used them consistently.
That's the key practice.
Yeah.
The more you use these methods, the more natural they become.
And one method that sounds particularly intriguing is the loci method, that memory palace technique.
Oh, yeah.
Can you explain that a bit more?
It's an ancient technique used by memory champions.
Okay.
You associate information with specific locations in a familiar place,
Okay.
like your home or a favorite route.
Gotcha.
Then you mentally walk through that space to retrieve the information.
That sounds almost magical. Can anyone do that?
Absolutely. Kwik even provides step-by-step instructions on how to create your own memory palace.
Wow.
It's a fun and effective way to boost your memory power.
Wow, we've covered so much already. It's amazing how much potential is locked away in our brains, just waiting to be unleashed.
And we're just getting started. Welcome back. Last time we were talking about memory techniques and like how to really make information stick. But Kwik doesn't just stop at remembering facts. He goes a step further.
You mean actually using what we learned to solve problems and make better decisions? That's where it gets really interesting for me.
Exactly. Kwik talks about second-order thinking. It's like looking beyond the immediate consequences of a decision and considering the ripple effects.
So not just thinking about what happens now, but what might happen next.
Exactly. Imagine you're offered a new job with a higher salary, but it requires relocating your family.
Okay.
First-order thinking might make you jump at the opportunity,
Right.
but second-order thinking would have you considering the impact on your family, the cost of living in a new city, and like the long-term career prospects.
Right.
It's about playing out the scenarios.
It's like thinking several moves ahead in a chess game instead of just reacting to the current position.
Exactly.
I can see how that would be useful in so many areas of life.
Absolutely. And Kwik doesn't stop there.
Okay.
He introduces a concept called exponential thinking,
Mm.
a mindset that goes beyond incremental improvements and embraces radical transformation.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Exponential thinking sounds intense. What does that look like in practice?
Think about it like this. Instead of asking, how can I make this slightly better?
Yeah.
You ask, how can I completely reinvent this?
Okay.
It's about challenging assumptions and envisioning possibilities that might seem impossible at first.
So it's like thinking outside the box, but on a whole other level.
Exactly. Kwik gives the example of the music industry.
Okay.
Instead of just trying to sell CDs slightly cheaper or with bonus tracks,
Right.
streaming services like Spotify completely revolutionized how we consume music.
Totally.
That's exponential thinking in action.
Wow, that's a great example. It's about creating those disruptive changes, those leaps forward that redefine entire industries.
Precisely. And Kwik argues that this kind of thinking isn't just for tech companies or entrepreneurs.
Okay.
We can all apply it to our personal and professional lives.
So how do we actually start thinking exponentially? It sounds a bit daunting.
Kwik offers a four-step framework.
Okay.
First, identify the root problem,
Okay.
not just the symptoms. It's like that saying, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime.
Right.
You need to find the source of the issue.
So it's about digging deeper, not just slapping a Band-Aid on a bigger problem. What's the next step?
Second, posit a new approach.
Okay.
Challenge the status quo and ask what-if questions.
Okay.
What if this problem didn't exist? What if we could approach this in a completely different way?
It's like giving yourself permission to think outside the existing constraints and dream big.
Exactly. Third, do your research.
Okay.
Once you've envisioned a new approach, gather information, explore different perspectives, and learn from others who've tackled similar challenges.
So it's not just about wild ideas, but about backing them up with solid research and insights from those who've gone before us.
Right. And finally, the fourth step is to extrapolate.
Okay.
Take what you've learned and apply it to your situation.
Okay.
Create a plan of action and take those first steps, even if they seem small.
So it's about moving from the brainstorming phase into actual implementation.
Yes,
It's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak.
exactly. Kwik emphasizes that exponential thinking isn't about having all the answers up front.
Right.
It's about embracing a mindset of continuous learning, experimentation, and iteration. It's a journey, not a destination.
It sounds like a powerful approach, not just for achieving success, but for personal growth and development.
Absolutely, and it's something we can all cultivate. Kwik provides a range of exercises and techniques to help us train our brains for exponential thinking.
I'm really starting to see how all these concepts from Limitless connect.
Mhm.
We're not just learning isolated facts, but developing a whole new approach to learning, thinking, and problem solving. It's like a mental toolkit for life.
Exactly. And one of the most powerful tools in that toolkit is the understanding that our brains are constantly changing and adapting based on our experiences.
You mean neuroplasticity? That concept really blew my mind when we talked about it earlier.
It's one of the most exciting discoveries in neuroscience.
Yeah,
It means we're not limited by our past experiences or our current circumstances.
right.
We have the power to reshape our brains and unlock our potential through conscious effort.
So it's not about being naturally gifted or having a certain IQ.
Right.
It's about actively shaping our brains through learning, practicing new skills, and adopting new ways of thinking.
Precisely. And Kwik provides a whole range of practical tips for doing just that.
Okay.
He talks about the importance of mindfulness and meditation to train our attention and focus.
I've heard about the benefits of mindfulness, but I never really connected it to learning and brain power.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
Mindfulness helps us become more aware of our thoughts, feelings, and sensations,
Okay.
which can improve our ability to focus, manage stress, and make better decisions.
So it's not just about sitting on a meditation cushion, it's about cultivating a mindset that supports learning and growth.
Exactly. And Kwik also emphasizes the importance of physical health for optimal brain function.
Right.
He talks about getting enough sleep, eating brain-boosting foods, and incorporating regular exercise into our routines.
It makes sense. Our brains need the right fuel and conditions to perform at their best, just like any other part of our body.
Absolutely. And one of the key takeaways from Limitless is that learning how to learn is a skill in itself.
Yeah,
It's not about being born with a certain level of intelligence.
right.
It's about developing effective learning strategies and being persistent in our pursuit of knowledge.
So it's about becoming lifelong learners, always seeking out new information, challenging our assumptions, and expanding our horizons.
Exactly. And Kwik provides a roadmap for that journey, a set of practical tools and techniques that anyone can implement regardless of their background or learning style.
This deep dive has been packed with so many actionable insights. I'm already feeling inspired to make some changes in my own life.
And that's what it's all about. Limitless is a call to action,
Yeah.
an invitation to unlock our potential and create the lives we want.
I'm curious what's resonated most with you so far. What techniques are you excited to try out in your own life?
Personally, I'm going to double down on those active recall techniques.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's going to be a game changer for remembering information long term.
Me too. And I'm excited to experiment with building my own memory palace.
Oh, yeah,
It sounds like such a fun and creative way to boost memory power.
absolutely. And for anyone listening, don't be afraid to experiment and find what works best for you. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to learning. It's all about finding what makes your brain light up.
So to everyone out there who joined us on this deep dive, we hope you're leaving with a sense of possibility and maybe even a few new tools to unlock your own potential.
Remember, there are no limits to what you can achieve when you embrace the power of your own mind. Keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep exploring the incredible world within your own brain.
We see you on the next deep dive. It's funny. We often think of our brains as this fixed thing. Like
Yeah.
we're born with a certain amount of brain power and that's it.
Right.
But Kwik really drives home the point that we can actually change our brains by changing our actions.
Yeah, it all comes back to neuroplasticity,
Right.
the brain's incredible ability to rewire itself based on what we do and how we think.
Yeah.
It's like we're sculpting our own brains
I like that.
with every experience.
So if we're constantly bombarding ourselves with distractions and information overload, we're basically strengthening those neural pathways that lead to, well, more distraction and overwhelm.
Precisely. But the good news is,
Okay.
the reverse is also true.
Okay.
We can train our brains for focused creativity and sharper thinking by making conscious choices about how we spend our time and energy.
So Kwik gives so many practical tips for this brain rewiring. It's
Yeah.
everything from practicing mindfulness and meditation
Yeah.
to making sure we're eating foods that actually support brain health.
He even talks about the importance of physical exercise for cognitive function.
It's true.
It's a good reminder that our brains aren't isolated up there.
Right.
They're part of this intricate system that needs to be taken care of as a whole.
One thing that really stuck with me is the idea that learning how to learn is a skill in itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about being naturally gifted. It's about having the right mindset, figuring out the strategies that work best for you, and just sticking with it.
And Kwik doesn't just tell us to try harder.
Right.
He actually lays out a roadmap with concrete tools and techniques. Anyone can use them,
Right.
regardless of their background or how they learn best.
Yeah.
It's incredibly empowering.
It really is. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Limitless, I'm curious to know what really clicked for you. What are you going to take away from this and apply to your own life?
Personally, I'm going to double down on those active recall techniques.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be a game changer for remembering information long term.
me too. And I'm excited to experiment with building my own memory palace.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
It sounds like such a fun and creative way to boost memory power.
Absolutely. And for anyone listening, don't be afraid to experiment and find what works best for you. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to learning. It's all about finding what makes your brain light up.
So to everyone out there who joined us on this deep dive, we hope you're leaving with a sense of possibility and maybe even a few new tools to unlock your own potential.
Remember, there are no limits to what you can achieve when you embrace the power of your own mind. Keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep exploring the incredible world within your own brain.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.